Good morning, Year 3-4. It's Mrs. Martin here with our writing lesson for today. So today is a really exciting part of a unit where we get to have a go at writing our own Cinquains poem. In your books, can you please write the date and the LO for me, which is to write a winter Cinquains poem, and then see if you can have a go at thinking of 10 words to describe this winter's scene. Pause the video here for me. Okay, our story map is here. If you would like to have a practice of our story map, just pause the video here for me and you can go ahead and do that. Okay, let's have a recap then and see how many of the features of a Cinquains poem we can remember. Now, we've looked already at the fact that there are always 5 lines within our Cinquains poem, and each line has something different on it. Each line develops the subject of the first word. We spoke about how the lines are written so that it's central on the page, almost like a diamond shape, and it follows a pattern. So our first line is our subject, then we have our description, so our adjectives to describe it. Our third line is our action, so we think of 3 verbs ending in ing that we can include. Our fourth line is a feeling, so normally this line has 4 words in it and it gives us a general feeling about the subject. And lastly, our 5th line is a synonym of our subject. So if our poem was about daffodils, perhaps our synonym might be flowers. So we are writing our poem today on winter. Yesterday we came up with all of our fantastic ideas of things that remind us of winter. And today we're going to use all of those ideas that we gathered yesterday and we're going to arrange them into our Cinquains poem. So to help you out, we have got this sheet here, which you'll find on the class page, where you can jot down your ideas for each line. I'm going to do it on the notebook with you, but if you would like to do your ideas on this page or set up your own one like this in your exercise book, that might be easier. So, number 1, our line 1, subject. What is our poem about? What would make a good title? Now, yesterday when we were talking about this, we decided that a good title for a poem about winter would be the word winter. So I'm just going to keep that idea and I'm going to have my first line as being the word winter. Okay, on to line 2 then. So line 2 is our description. This is where we think of what adjectives we can use to describe it. And remember, we want 2 adjectives. So I'm going to look at all of those adjectives I used yesterday, and I'm going to think about which 2 I would like to include within my poem. I think I'm going to go for snowy, and which other one did I like? I think perhaps Arctic as well. So I'm going to go for snowy and Arctic in my poem. So going to your sheet or writing it in your exercise book if you have one, can you write for me what your title is going to be and which 2 adjectives you are going to choose? Pause the video here for me. Okay, super. So we're on to line 3 now. Line 3 is the action. So these are all our ing words. Now I need to choose 3 of these that I'm going to put within my poem. So I'm just going to have a reread of those actions I chose yesterday. And let's see which ones I'm going to include. Oh, I think one might have to be shivering. I like that one. Shivering. From skating, I think that sums up winter for me. Skating. I was very proud of hibernating, so I think I'm going to choose that. as my third one. Shivering, skating, hibernating. Those are my three verbs that I've chosen. Can you pause the video here and fill in your three verbs for me? Which three are you going to choose? Okay, brilliant. So we're on to line 4 now. Line 4 being that one that we had to put the most thought into, really, which is where we need 4 words which give us a feeling when we think about winter. Now, either you can use the what ideas you had yesterday, or maybe you might come up with a new idea. I really liked my line, snow blanketing the ground. I thought that really summed up winter for me. So I'm going to have that as my idea. Snow blanketing the ground. So I'm just going to magpie that idea from yesterday. Okay, your turn now then. So have a go at line 4 for me. We want a 4-word phrase that tells us about winter. Pause the video here. Okay, and our last line, that's our synonym. So this is where we need to find another word that means something similar to winter, but is slightly different. Now, winter's a bit of a tricky one, really, but I thought of frost and freezing yesterday, and I think that I'm going to go with frost for the last line of my poem. Can you pause the video here and fill in your synonym for your poem as well? Okay, so I've gathered all of my ideas together, as you can see here. Now I get to create my Cinquains poem, and this is where we're going to get to be a little bit artistic and put our poem together. So first of all, at the top, I'm going to write my title, which of course for this poem is going to be Winter. I'm going to make sure that I underline it nice and neatly with my ruler and pencil, and that's going to go in the middle. Now this is a bit that's really easy for me because I'm on a computer, but a little bit tricky for you because you're going to be doing it on paper. Now you're going to write all of your ideas out into the poem, but the tricky part is that it needs to be in the centre so that it looks like a diamond in shape. You might find it easier to very lightly draw a line down the middle of your page so you can see where the centre is, or maybe you're okay at just writing the words so they look like they are in the centre of the page. So I've got my lines here. My first line is winter, so I'm going to put that into the middle of my page. My second line, snowy Arctic. So I've got to get it looking like a diamond so it's all central. My third line, shivering, skating, hibernating. There we go, that looks central to me. My fourth line, snow blanketing the ground. And that fifth line, frost. There we go. Can you see how my poem looks like a diamond in shape? It was easy for me. I cheated a little bit because I did it on my computer. It might take you a little bit longer and maybe a few goes to make your poem look like a diamond by having it central in the page. Have a try at that now for me. See if you can make your lines into a Cinquains poem. Can you set them up like I have? Okay, now I'm just going to read my poem. As I read it, I'm going to check that I haven't repeated lots of words, so I haven't got snow in every line, for example, and just make sure that all of my ideas make sense. Winter. Winter, snowy, Arctic, shivering, skating, hibernating, snow blanketing the ground, frost. Oh, brilliant. I'm really proud of that. That's given me a real picture in my head of a real winter scene. Now, the last thing we need to do is just to make it a bit pretty. So now is your chance to be a bit of an illustrator to go along with your poem and perhaps draw a nice winter scene around it. Now, when I thought of mine, I immediately thought of snowflakes. So I think I'm going to add some snowflake pictures to the outside. Okay, so I've added my snowflake pictures to the outside, and I think now this just really finishes it off and makes it look like a really wintry poem. Let's read it one more time to check. Winter. Winter, snowy, arctic, shivering, skating, hibernating, snow blanketing the ground, frost. I hope you agree that this poem really gives you that sense of winter and just how cold it is, and all of the kind of activities that you might get up to in that season. When you finish your poem, and you perhaps have illustrated it if you would like to, please send it in to your teachers so we can have a look at your fantastic work.